Happy Monday. Welcome back to another week of my life as a first-year medical student. So this is now my second real block. Hopefully I've learned more from the first one and sort of what to expect and how to study, although study strategies for every block also differ. So we're starting fresh on a new routine. I woke up earlier than normal today and sort of went through like entire morning routine because I have to. And there was my alarm interrupting me because in 15 minutes I have to leave for school, but we have a new small group for this block. The block is essentially kind of like a combination of microbiology, immunology, and oncology, and hematology. So a lot of ologies, but they sound like they might not necessarily fit together, but when you actually kind of think about it a little bit deeper, they do. So there's going to be a lot of memorization though for this block when it comes to sort of some of the microbiology, like the bugs and drugs and stuff like that, antibiotics and things. But let's see how this first PBL session goes.
And why doctors must understand them to practice good medicine in the 21st century. Antimicrobial stewardship.
So just got back home from class for the day. We had our PBL session this morning, so that's like our small group discussions. And so essentially what we do is we meet 3 times a week. And so on Monday, we are given 2 cases. And as a small group, we decide on what the learning objectives will be. Sort of we read through the case and then we say, this is what we want to learn from this, or these are the questions that it brings up for us. And our facilitator is there to kind of like guide us and keep us on track for what the program actually wants us to get out of it. And then on Wednesday we review, we sort of throughout the week then go home and do our own independent research on those learning objectives. And then on Wednesday we review what we found for the first case, and on Friday we review what we found for the second case. So this week we're learning about our PBL cases are related to lymphomas and hematopoiesis. So obviously very relevant to the block that we're in. And we get new PBL groups, like as far as like who's actually in the small group, we get a new assortment of people every like 2-ish blocks, depending on how long the blocks are. And then after that, there was an optional 30-minute lecture where I missed because I was in the super long line for the hospital Starbucks to grab some coffee. But it was optional and it's recorded, so I'll just have to watch it later. And then there was a required session that was kind of a lot on, it was on like microbiology and sort of infectious agents and antibiotics, but all framed around a UTI case or urinary tract infection case, and sort of this infectious disease doctor talking about why you shouldn't give antibiotics for an asymptomatic UTI because we want to be good antibiotic stewards and not contribute to superbugs and things like that. So that was interesting. And then I was meeting with a 4th-year medical student who is going to be working on the same data set as I'm going to be working on for my medical student research project. So everyone in our whole grade, whole class, everyone that goes through our medical school is required to complete a research project. Most people complete that during the summer in between their 1st and 2nd years, but you just have to have it done by the time you graduate. And so I was meeting with the 4th year that's gonna be working on the same data set as I will be for my research project. So we sort of just were brainstorming research questions and sort of talking about the data set and what we want to get out of it and things like that. So that was the end of the day, and now I'm home. So I'm going to watch the independent lecture that was posted for today that we're supposed to watch, as well as an independent lecture from last Friday that's an hour and a half. And so I just didn't have the energy to do it over the weekend, but it must be done. So now's the time. And then later tonight, I will have sort of It's like a mentoring educational outreach program for high school students, where we sort of run them through like a mini med school for the semester. And so I'll be facilitating their PBL. And it's like half a PBL sort of problem solving thing, problem-based learning is what PBL stands for, and then half like a mentoring session. So those are really fun. Those are weekly on Monday nights. So that's pretty much the rundown of the day. The days get busier as the semester is going on.
A little biased here, but I think it's pretty interesting.
So today was a long day, where we had a immunology lecture early this morning, and then we had our humanities class. We were talking about the history of gender, and sort of social construction of gender, which was interesting. And then I had an info session on the free clinic that our school and the like medical students run. They had sort of an info session about their board and like leadership positions, and so I went to that to get a little bit more information. And then I had an AMWA coffee date with the AMWA is the American Medical Women's Association. I've been involved with them for a really long time. Most every medical school has a chapter of AMWA, and so they had sort of like a mentoring like coffee date type thing where you signed up and then they would match you with someone from either the so as a M1 they'd match me with either an M2 or an M3. And so I had my meeting with my like sort of M2 mentor, AMWA, like coffee date, just like networking, like get to know you type thing. We ended up talking for much longer than I initially thought we were going to. And so that meant that I didn't get as much work done as I wanted to, but I think there's only 3 lectures from today and yesterday that I don't have done at the moment, which is very like catch-upable, as long as you have the time. So, but I did, like, as soon as I got home, like ate dinner and did a lecture, and now it's past bedtime. So I last week was having some trouble like just like waking up. I even like slept through my alarm one day, so I'm like paranoid that's gonna happen again. So I've been trying to go to bed a little bit early, but it is officially past 11, so time for sleep. On the docket for this Wednesday is my problem-based learning class that is on hematopoiesis, or the creation / like development of blood cells. And then we have a non-mandatory lecture, and then I'm doing a sort of community event at a local elementary school doing vision and hearing screenings. So that should actually be really fun. And just now getting back from the volunteer event at the school, oh gosh, which was super fun. The kids were so cute. So I got to help take visual acuities on 2nd graders and a few older kids, maybe around 4th grade, and got to like meet some of the ER doctors at the hospital, because the majority of the physician volunteers there were from the ED. So that was really cool too. And now I'm just going to do some of this week's lectures.
There's no variables that you go through like you would with a breast cancer to assign to it to try to assign a grade, more than just saying it's aggressive off the bat.
Today's a really dreary day, which fits with the fact that today's all virtual. So we have 2 lectures this morning, 2 virtual lectures this morning, on innate immunity and T cells. And then we have our health systems class on population health. So, but all that is going to be virtual. So I am going to head over to the closest Starbucks to me and study with a friend. And we're gonna join our systems class virtually online together as well. Otherwise, the only thing on the to-do list, we normally have independent lectures, which are just kind of like not scheduled, but we have to do them at some point. And today we don't have any independent lectures. We only have to do research for our PBL tomorrow, which our PBL tomorrow is on DLBCL, or diffuse large B-cell lymphoma. So it'll be a nice, calming day, hopefully. A catch-up day, if you will. So for some unknown reason, I have decided to stay up late to get as much lecture as I can possibly get done before I honestly just feel too tired to do it. And so I'm watching the lectures that were from earlier this morning on T-cell activation and innate immune response. So I've already done innate immune response, and now I'm doing T-cell activation and migration, but I just thought it was funny because this has never happened to me before, but it shows us on the video how many people have watched it before, and I am the first person watching this lecture recording, so yay me, I guess.